अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरु वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितां तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखादिवांश नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनि इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So Hare Krishna. Today we are here to discuss on the topic Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 1, hearing and observing. So Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Sakta Mana Partha Yogam Yunjun Madashaya Ashamshayam Samagram Mam Yatha Nyashyasi Tachunu. Translation: The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Now hear, O son of Pritha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. So let's begin with the discussion. So the name of the chapter is the knowledge of the absolute. So here we will discuss about the knowledge. Here Krishna describes the 9 processes of bhakti, after which the most important is Shravanam. Shravanam is he emphasized a lot on Shravanam. In this chapter, in this verse, we're gonna discuss about the importance of hearing. So, Shravanam, without it's such an important part of the process that without attentively and in submission of mind, we cannot perform other processes of the birth spiritual life. Srila Rupa Goswami says, Adho Shraddha Tadha Sadhu Sangota Bhajana Kriya. That in the beginning we have a very little faith in Krishna, but the Krishna that resides in our soul is so happy and satisfied with that faith that he directs us towards sadhu sangha, the association of pure and sincere devotees. And when the words of such sadhu sangha, of such sadhus, are so nourishing that it nourishes it nourishes just like the water, and the faith in our soul deepens, and as the faith in our soul deepens, we really want to execute the devotional service. By hearing to the great devotees of the Lord, the dormant propensity to serve awakens in our soul. Therefore, at every stage of life, it is very important that we hear from the right and correct authorized person of the Lord. There are many reciters of Srimad Bhagavatam, Ramayana, Bhagavad Gita, but they may be genuine and maybe not. But the main question we have to ask here, are we genuine? Are we willing to apply those philosophy in our lives? So the this is why it is said in Bhagavatam, Nasha Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttam Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Nayashriti. Therefore, by regularly listening To Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Bhagavad Gita, the Bhagavad philosophy, the glorification of the Lord, and his teachings removes all kinds of inauspiciousness from our hearts. Along with hearing, we must recollect and respond what we have heard and apply those instructions in our lives, because it is very important that then without hearing, with only hearing, there will be no development in our spiritual life. So we must hear attentively and apply those instructions in our lives. Throughout the Shastras, we learn the importance of endeavoring service to the Lord. That is called as the bhakti. So if we hear attentively, the fruit of hearing is the propensity to serve, to follow the instructions. If we do not follow the instructions of our sadhus, of our guru, then we have not heard at all. Srila Prabhupada says that there is a natural difference between hearing and listening. So listening here means the sound vibrations comes through your ears to your mind. But what happens in the mind? There are already so many preoccupied ideas and desires that we forget those instructions. So the main difference here is what is hearing. Hearing means when we hear the transcendental sound vibrations of the instructions of gurus, we know it comes through your ears and goes through your mind, and the Lord within us directs our mind and heart to follow those instructions. So here Srila Prabhupada explains a very gives a very good examples to share to give the to highlight the importance of hearing. So he says that when a mother is sick and she tells to her son, "Oh son, I'm sick. Can you bring me a glass of water?" So the son says, "Oh, I've heard you, mother, and I will bring you water." But then the son goes out and does all the things he desires, and the mother is waiting for the for the water. So so the son has actually heard the mother? No. If he had actually heard the mother, he would have immediately got up and get her a glass of water. That is the difference between the spiritual life and pseudo spiritual life. So we must hear sincerely, and if we hear sincerely, Krishna represents from the mouths of his representatives. Here, Krishna says that there is difference between two types of knowledge, theoretical knowledge and the realized knowledge. So, theoretical knowledge means it means that storing data in the mind. It has nothing to do with how we live our life, how we apply that knowledge in the life. But whereas the realized knowledge means when we apply the knowledge that is given to us. The difference between two types of knowledge, theoretical knowledge we heard, and the second is the realized knowledge. Realized knowledge is that the instructions and the knowledge we heard from the Guru that we actually apply in our lives. So Krishna begins this chapter by saying, "Now here." He doesn't say, "Here tomorrow" or "here after a few minutes." He says, "Now hear from me." Now is a very important aspect because um, in this material world we have a very natural propensity to keep things for tomorrow, but that is the result of the illusion maya. So therefore Krishna says, "Now hear from me. Now is the time. Now you should be listen to me and apply those instructions." uh, Chanaka Pandit says things that are auspicious should be done today, to be done now, and all the inauspicious things can be done later on. So, what is the most auspicious thing in this world? To hear and chant the holy names of the Lord. That is the auspicious thing in our lives. So, mm, we usually tend to keep things like we say that oh, now is not the time. I shall do bhakti when I'll get a job, when I'll get settled, when I'll get married, or when my children grow up. So why? So that's not the correct approach to the bhakti. Here, Prahlad Maharaj says, Komara achara pragyo dharman bhagavata iha daurlabham manusham janma tad api adhruvam arthadam, from Bhagavatam 7.6.1. He says to his 5-year-old classmates when they were arguing with Prahlad Maharaj that why should we do bhakti now? We are just 5-year-old kids. Now is the time to play, and after play, after we will play, we will study, we will get married, have our children. After they settle down, then we can do bhakti. But Prahlad Maharaj says no. Since you're 5 year old now, you should do bhakti now. So here, Srila Prabhupada ji says, when you are old, your mind cannot take things as they used to be when you are old, or when you were young. So he says that why do you need to keep all the worst, give the worst time of your life to God? Instead, you should give the best time, the youth, to the Lord. When you are energetic, when you can understand things, take things nicely, and apply things practically. So here we learn the importance the importance of doing things now, as Krishna says, now hear from me. So Krishna says how practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. So here, Krishna says that doubt is a demon in this material world. Doubt is a thing that keeps us away from Krishna and engaged in our material uh, ambitions and ideas. So when you fix your mind onto me and practice yoga with sincerity, then you will be free from doubt. I So he says, when we take one step toward Krishna, Krishna takes 10 steps towards us. He says in Bhagavad Gita 9.22, Ananyas Yanto Mam Ye Jana Paryupashate Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yoga Shemam Vahamiyaham. If you simply aspire a sincere attempt to surrender to Krishna, meditating on my transcendental form, he will preserve and carry what we lack. By pleasing Krishna, by simply endeavoring the instructions of the Krishna and his devotees, the scriptures and Guru, he he becomes our well-wisher friend. Suridam Sarvabhutanam. So there is a beautiful there is a beautiful story in Srimad Bhagavatam. So let us go walk through the story of Dhruva Maharaj. So when Dhruv Maharaj was a 5-year-old kid, uh, he was insulted by his stepmother, and and his father didn't defend him. He became so angry and uh, so sad. He goes to his mother, trembling and crying like a leaf, and he says, "Mother, what shall I do?" So his mother says, "Oh, my dear son, I can't give you any material. I can't give you any material solution, but I have an solution for you. You can go to the God. You can go to the God, and He will help you." So Dhruv Maharaj says, "Where is this God?" So his mother says, "Go to the forest and do tapasya. Then God will surely come and help you." So after hearing this, Dhruv Maharaj becomes so determined that he goes to the forest and perform austerities. So Krishna is in everyone's heart. By mercy of Krishna, when we are sincere and we try to understand God, he reciprocates by directing us to the spiritual master Guru. So Krishna is so merciful that he directs us to the Guru. And that Guru is so merciful that he directs us to the Lord Krishna. So, as Dhruv Maharaj went to the forest, he he started he was very lost. So then Lord Narad Muni appears in front of him, and he started testing Dhruva Maharaj. He started saying, "Oh, my dear son, why are you here? You are so small. You should go to your home and play. This is not your time." So he was testing Dhruva Maharaj's sincerity. But Dhruva Maharaj says, "No, I will not go home. I want to meet God." So, seeing his sincerity, Lord Narad Muni gave gave Dhruva Maharaj the mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, the Mahamantra of Satyuga. So Dhruva Maharaj started meditating on this mantra and started performing austerities. He performed tapasya for a very long time. So when Lord Narayan appears in front of him, he was so overwhelmed with such transcendental happiness and love that he needed no benedictions. When Narayana says, "Oh, my dear son, what do you want from me?" Lord Dhruv Maharaj, so in love and in transcendental bliss, says, "Oh, Narayana, I don't want anything. I want to do devotional service, and we will and to do devotional service." So Lord Narayan says, "I want you to go to your home and become a king and set an example for this material world." So Dhruv Maharaj went to his home, and after a few time he became the king, and he ruled the kingdom with a very and set an example to this material world. So, similarly, after the Dhruv Maharaj, his son Utkala, he became the king. But he was he was so good, and he was always in a mood that he used to think that everyone and everything is a part and parcel of the Lord. And Gita Lord says, "Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Suni Chaiva Swapakecha Pandita Samadarshina." He used to treat everyone, even the dogs, the insignificant ones, everyone with so much respect because he understood that in everyone's heart and everything, my Lord is there. So, so all the sages thought that he has become mad and he is not that responsible to become a king. So the kingdom was passed then to his younger brother Vatsula, I guess. Vatsula. So along his lineage, the Lord Anga appears, and he was so good and he was so auspicious and he was so in devotion that he used to perform. He really ruled the kingdom very nicely. So once he was performing a ritual, a Samaveda. It is a very great and very important yagna where even the small impronunciation from the sadhus can result to the failure of the yagna. So as they were performing, there were many educated priests performing all kinds of performing the yagna very precisely and very nicely, performing all the pure and free from polluted paraphernalia to the yagna. But the problem happened was the demigods. The demigods they were invited, but they won't reciprocate to this yagna. So the priest approached to the king Anga that the demigods they won't come here, they won't accept this yajna. What shall we do? So Maharaj Anga became confused and he became so astonished. He became so disappointed. He asked the priest, "My dear priest, have I done something wrong? Have I become polluted in any way that the demigods are not approaching me?" So the sages said, "No, you're so very good. you have taken such a good care and taken care of the yagna, and all the items and the paraphernalias are not polluted. You have you have done stuff everything nicely, so we don't see anything that is wrong with you. But I think so. But we think that maybe you did something this is a result of the misdeeds of from your past lives. So you should instead perform this yagna to Lord Vishnu, so that and and request him for a son. So they all perform the yagna to please Lord Vishnu, and when they perform the ahiti in the fire, a man with a golden garland and a white dhoti appears with a pot with with a pot filled with rice, mixed with milk. So when he appears, Lord Anga Maharaj takes permission from the sages and takes that pot and smells it and gives it to his wife Suniti. So after tasting the milk rice, after a few times she became pregnant with a son. And after a few times, Lord Veena uh, uh, was birth. He was very crooked and very cruel, and he was not like Lord Anga Maharaj. He was the opposite. He used to perform all kinds of misdeeds. When he was small, he used to slaughter his friends he used to kill the his friends, small friends, like they were the animals of a slaughterhouse. And when he grew up, he started going to forest and innocently killing the deers and the animals. So whenever Veena used to appear in the public, all the people used to say, "Go, oh my God, why is he here? He's such a cruel person." So Lord Anga Maharaj tried to educate his son, King Veena, that you should not do all these things. You should be very good. But the Veena was so impolite that he never followed the instructions of his father. So his father became so disappointed that how can a son like you be here? He was so disappointed. He started cursing himself that lucky are those who doesn't have a son. Why am I? Why the why do you have to be so impolite and mm, so bad? So after a few moments, the King Anga realized that it is good to have a bad son instead of a good son, because if you have a bad son, it is very easy for educated person to get detached from his material life, from his family and relative. So he became happy and he started thinking, "Oh my God, this is a sign that this is a sign for me to get detached from this family and its material life." So in night, King Anga Maharaj left his kingdom and went to the forest to live the rest of his life and and do the tapasya. Basically, he got detached from his family. So in the morning, when everyone woke up and saw that King Anga Maharaj is not there, what shall we do? There is no king. How can we rule this kingdom? This kingdom will be in chaos. Everything will be in chaos, and there will be all. And then after King Anga Maharaj left the kingdom, there were many thieves who started robbing the kingdom, and it became a very important issue. So the sages, after taking the permission of Suniti, coronated the King Veena, and as soon as the King Veena became the king, all the thieves, knowing that King Veena is so cruel, they all ran left the kingdom. So this was one plus point of King Vina, that because he was so cruel, he could have he protected the kingdom from thieves. So, but what is the bad side? When the King Vina become as Veena became the king, he became so in proud and so pride that he used to go in his kingdom and always he used to punish the sages and used to he used to he was very mm, he was so in pride that uh, he began an order that no yagna which should take place in my kingdom. Since I came from a part of the god, you should worship me instead. So sages became so concerned about his behavior that the sages told him that King Veena, you should not do like this. Why you should be a very good king now. As you're a king, you should allow the people and perform the spiritual rites to perform spiritual yagnas and sacrifices. So instead, King Veena cursed the sages and say, "Oh, you are so stupid! Like he started cursing all the sages and he said that I came from a part of Vishnu, so instead you should worship me instead. Why are you worshipping Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu? Instead you should worship me." And the sages became so angry and they were so furious. They killed King Veena through a very powerful mantra. They didn't kill Veena by any weapon, but they killed by powerful mantra. So after killing the King Veena, they all left the king. They left the kingdom and they were performing their sacred rituals. So when Sunita learned that his son was killed by the sages, she preserved his body with herbs and started performing mantras. As soon as the sages knew that King Suniti is performing such mantras and preserving the body of King Veena, he start he started say they thought that we should do something. We have to take care of this. So what they did was the sages showed the legs of King Veena. And as they churned the legs of the King Veena, a small, dwarf, dark colored, complex person came out of the churning of the legs. His name was Bahuka, and he was so dark. His hairs were of copper color. His eyes were so red, and he was so small. His arms were so small. His legs were so small, but his jaw was very big. And as soon as he was born, he was actually very submissive, to be very honest, and he told the sages, "Oh sage, what shall I do?" So the sages told the Bahuka, "Oh, you should go." So after that, the sages started churning the arms of King Vena, and from the arms mm, came a couple so divine that they immediately knew that they are a incarnation, they are a part of Lord Vishnu. Uh, the the couple was King Prithu and Archi, the goddess, the part of Lord Lakshmi. So they were so happy that the from such a misfortune body there appears Lord Prithu and Lord and Archi Devi, and they become so mystified. They performed all kinds of yagna. They sang Gandharvas and coronated King Prithu. So here Radhanath Swami Maharaj said that whenever that some there was a time when someone approached him and told him that since I started bhakti, I started become very angry, I become very envious, and I become very jealous from and why is this happening? Like now I'm doing bhakti, I should be very good and I should not have such signs. So Maharaj replied, it's like churning. Like when you as we chant the holy names of the Lord, as we chant the holy names of the Lord, all kinds of sins, even if we don't know existed in us, comes in the surface. And what we have to do, we have to like Bahuka, we have to tell them go away. We have to not. We have to. Hmm, by Bahuka, we have to tell them to go away. So similarly, we have to keep chanting and keep remembering the Lord's name. That is the reason when we start to churn our consciousness and all the sins we don't know will go away. It is explained by Mahaprabhu that when we chant the holy names of the Lord, our heart is cleansed, all anarthas and sins come to the surface, and we say them to go away. And when all sins are removed from our heart by the mercy of the sadhus, Lord Krishna appears in our mind. Just like Lord Prithu came from the body of Veena, that is the process of self-realization. So by simply hearing about him, chanting his holy names, remembering the pastimes of Lord, it's like the churning of our heart takes place, the purification of our heart takes place, and then Krishna reveals himself by his own sweet will. And when that time comes, we can know him free from doubt. That is the path of realization. That is the path of perfection. When we chant the holy names of the Lord by the association of the devotees, Lord, through his names, in such a very beautiful way, appears in front of us. So, we should chant the holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So when we churn our heart becomes like a butter. And when our heart becomes like a butter, Makhan Chor appears in the scene. And when this Makhan Chor takes this heart, steals our heart because he's so very good at it, he is so very good at it. He takes very great pleasure to take this heart, and when once this heart is taken by this Makan Shore, we are sure that our heart will not go away. So this was it. So let us walk through the mood and mission of this verse. The mood is a loving and inviting instruction from Lord Krishna to Arjun to hear from him. Krishna shifts from general yoga to a more personal and devotional connection and encourages focus, faith, and attachment to him. Whereas the mission here is to explain how one can know Krishna completely, Samagram, and without doubt, Asamshayam. To establish Bhakti Yoga as the main path of our lives, to emphasize taking shelter of Lord Krishna, and to begin the section on knowledge of the Supreme Jnana Vijnana Yoga. So, Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any questions, anyone? I'll try to answer.
So, what Srila Prabhupada says here regarding preaching, according to that verse 7.1 in purport,
To
preaching.
follow the instructions of the guru and to hear from our guru submissively. That's what he said, that when we hear, he says, I can give a small analogy that when Srila Prabhupada and took some devotees to Vrindavan, the devotees there were started seeing the temples instead of hearing Srila Prabhupada, the Leela. So Srila Prabhupada says that when we should see everything from our ears. Eyes can deceive us, but the instruction from the guru will never deceive us. So I think that you should take that as an main inspiration for the preaching.
So, what is the example? Yes.
I mean, Lord says here that when you hear attentively from the right representation, then I will appear in front of you, free from doubt. So here, the doubt represents that it is kind of demon that takes us away from Krishna. It avoids us to keep Krishna as a center part of our lives, and we get engaged in material ambitions. So it is very necessary for us to hear from the correct and authorized representation. So if we are sincere, then Krishna gives us a very sincere guru. And if we are not very sincere, then he gives a very insincere guru. So here the most highlighted part can be that we should be very sincere with bhakti and hear from the great acharyas and sadhus and follow their instructions wisely as they are the representative of Krishna.
So you can give personal application. Personal application. That personal application should come from personal life.
I mean, Prabhuji, I don't think that is very well connected to the verse, but the personal application I would like to give that since I started chanting 2 years before, when I started chanting, I started getting very many opportunities to serve the Lord. I started getting sevas at the temple, and then I started Bhakti Shastri, and then I started the study of the Vedas, and by our mercy, by the mercy of Guru, I think I'm not that confident enough, but I can uh, explain explain the parts, explain the concepts of the Vedas. So I think this is my personal application. By hearing attentively, I think you become confident and you can preach, and you can preach the concepts and the pastimes of the Lord to other people. And yeah, that's it. That's my personal application, I would like to say.
The Tulsi Devi Dasi want to hear how you met with your spiritual master first time.
So actually it was 26 this year, 26 January. Actually, our counselor Satyanarayan Prabhuji, he told that I wanted to meet Maharaj. So my father and we three went to ISKCON Chowpatty. So Maharaj had a meeting before, had to go to meeting. So when he arrived in the temple. He came uh, Satyanarayan Prabhuji told Maharaj that Vishnu Vilas Das, my father, he's a mentor and he's been preaching for 25 years. And then Maharaj came and
25 years.
my father,
25 years. Oh, very good.
not I think 20 years. So when Maharaj came, my father was so emotionally started. He was for the whole time he was like this to Guru Maharaj, and Radhanath Swami Maharaj hold my father's hand, and until my father got up and saw Maharaj, he didn't move from that. And then when he moved, he saw us and he told us Hare Krishna. And since he was in a rush, he had to go to meeting, but. Then we gave actually this February we actually welcome Gaurita in our house. So Radhanath Swami Maharaj gave the name. He gave Shri Shri Nitai Sachisod, and we welcomed them in our home and hearts, and that was how we met Maharaj, and and our deities got the names.
Okay.
So this is how we met.
Nitesh Sochisuto. Good, very good.
So